Hi, I'm Warren Sprouse. You're on the Bible Forum. It's September 3rd, 2017. Have you ever watched the AMC-TV program called Preacher? I hope not. At least not for more than a few minutes to see what it is that it's all about. Because apparently that's all you can do and not actually literally vex your soul with the filthy communication of the wicked. Last week I talked about the Netflix program. Can't think what it's called. Anyway, talking about the filth and the degradation and the outright attack against all these things that are godly and other ways. And this week, that particular video, that YouTube, has gotten 10 times the hits that of anything I've ever put out there in the last 17 years. Apparently, we're interested in the salacious. Well, Seth Rogen, whoever he is the star of the show. Seth plays an irreverent small-town pastor who has a sordid past and was suddenly struck with superpowers. Now, the article didn't explain how that all works, so I don't know, and I'm not going to do the research to find out. But now this preacher, Jesse Custer, is on a hunt to find God himself. Why? Well, because he's got a problem with God. Oh, and along the way, he uses his superpowers to kill people. Sometimes simply because they annoy him. Now, oddly enough, the program was actually developed by Mr. Rogen, the star of the show, and another man by the name of Evan Goldberg. And it has become a hit. And you didn't even know it existed. I think something of where we are, in that you have terrestrial TV, as it were. You have, you get your antenna or you get your cable and you can watch local programming, or it can drive you over into the cable world, and depending on which cable company you have, what programs you get to watch. But now we're actually into the internet phase of it. Where people are developing, Netflix is developing programming of their own, and they're putting it online. And then you can go and watch reruns and this, that, and the other. Maybe you can pay for it. You have Amazon.com or Amazon Prime, and you can go in and you get certain things. There's a whole world of things that are going on now. But you know how all of this goes, right? It doesn't matter where the series starts. It can start at a very high, semi-moral, decent kind of level. But the second year, it drops off a little bit. And by year 4 or 5, you can't watch it at all. Usually by the second year, we're done. Well, that's what's happening here, only it's starting at this new low level. Now, what these people do with these programs is deliberate. They're trying to degrade your sensitivity, your morality. In this particular show, it means featuring a scene in which Jesus Christ, this character, is now seen as Jesus Christ, who on the night of the Last Supper was having sex with a woman who ultimately has his child. And you say, why? How does that fit in with anything? I have no idea, but I can guarantee it doesn't have to fit in with anything. They throw it in there because they can, and because they want to beat up on Christianity, biblical Christianity. They want to tear it down, and they want to do it in your mind and heart. Because all of this goes to the very heart of who and what Jesus is. Is he the holy Son of God? Not if he's having sex with a woman that's not his wife. Excuse me. It's a deliberate slap against all that's holy and all that's decent The shock to a viewer's system serves to vaccinate him or her against the next shock, which will then work in the very same way until the next one comes along. Anybody remember I Love Lucy? You could sit down with your grandmother and watch this thing. Well, as they like to say, we've come a long way, baby. And we came that distance incrementally. One shocking image at a time. The author of this piece wrote that Christians were clearly horrified by such a depiction. But that just seems to egg on the Seth Rogans of this world. And it eggs them on even more in the Twitter world. Because you see these things explode and they go crazy and they talk about you see how it works? Take a society and its moral fabric, introduce something that's a little less than, build it up and let everybody come and see. You want to see what that's about. We are by nature sinful creatures. It's how the Bible defines and describes us as human beings. Our heart, the very heart of who we are, is desperately wicked. More wicked than anything you can imagine. And you say, well, no, I'm not like that. My kids, not everybody expresses it the same way, but trust God when he says that's the capacity for the heart. That's where it can and does go. And these people are doing this, and they're trying to take you and pull you down to another level. You don't have to go down where they are. Just come down off your high horse. And next year or next week or next time around, they'll lower it one more time. There isn't anybody in my world, my age, my parents, my grandparents, nobody that I ever knew growing up that would even imagine that anybody would do a thing like this, let alone that they could. We've come a long way, baby.